Hey guys, 7WD Rocks here. This is Saturday Night Kickout, episode 7, I believe. I might be wrong on that, to be honest, but episode 7. Basically, I told you guys that school was in the way. I'd have homework and stuff, so I really wouldn't have enough time to watch wrestling. And I think this was the perfect week for it because Raw I really didn't like. I'll talk about it towards the end maybe, but basically I said ask me some questions and I will do the entire show dedicated to you guys' questions. And honestly, I always have that feeling. This is my third Q&A. I always have that feeling that I'm not going to get as many questions as I think. I'm going to get like one or two and it's going to suck. But you guys, as always, come through. I'm at 184 subscribers. That's freaking crazy. I remember I was stuck in the 160s for a really long time, but at 184, and you guys asked a lot of questions. I wrote them all down. I got like 12 people asking questions, and each person, or at least each person, maybe one or two didn't, but everybody usually did more than one question. So I got a lot of questions, and I'm going to answer them all right now. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for answering them. That really means a lot that you want to know more about me and stuff. Some questions are really hard, and I'm going to give explanations on why I really couldn't answer them to the fullest, potential, I guess. But I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to get right into it. So we are starting off with the person who actually sent out his questions today on my Dean Ambrose video that I posted out yesterday. So no order whatsoever. So even if you did post your question first, I might not get to you till middle, very end. But hopefully that doesn't disappoint you. Let's start with the Nerdman 2. He asked, will you get pissed if Roman Reigns gets a victory over Seth Rollins before Dean Ambrose does? Now, I wouldn't get pissed, but I do feel like that could happen. Maybe if Dean Ambrose does come back at Night of Champions to tag with Roman Reigns, I could see Roman Reigns eventually getting a win over Seth Rollins. But it's just how they've been pushing Roman Reigns. You can see he's going to be the face of the company in a few short years. And I would not be surprised if he did get a win over Seth Rollins before Dean Ambrose did. But I think Dean Ambrose deserves a win over Seth Rollins first? Absolutely. But I'm not going to be pissed. But yeah, I think it is safe to say that could happen. Maybe in the tag match, Roman lets Dean get the pin on him. But I mean, who knows? I want to see Dean Ambrose get a win on Seth Rollins one-on-one. But yeah. So moving on to your next question. Does it seem Roman is trying to piggyback off Dean's success and since coming back to feud with Seth Rollins? No, I really don't think Roman Reigns really needs to piggyback over anybody. I think he's already getting pushed, really, really freaking huge. I don't think he really needs to piggyback off anybody. In this match, it does seem like they have nothing for him to do, so they're just going to put him with Dean Ambrose, who I think Dean Ambrose is way more over with the crowd mostly. With Dean Ambrose is more over than Roman Reigns, but it's kind of different. You would think that, and then you see polls where Roman Reigns is leading on who should be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns is leading in that poll, so I'm a little shocked by that. But no, I don't think he's really piggybacking. I don't think he even needs to piggyback off anyone. He's gonna get pushed, and whether we like it or not, I could see him being the face of the company either this year, next year, probably next year during WrestleMania season. But yeah, thank you for your questions, and I really appreciate it. I hope I see more. I think you just subscribed. Could be wrong, but yeah, moving on to L Giant 37303. If you want to save some money, go check out his channel. That's L Giant 37303. He asked, favorite wrestling moment of the summer. Now this one was kind of hard because honestly, a lot of stuff happened this summer, and I'm not really gonna take out the cheap way answer, but basically my favorite moment of the summer, I will say a specific moment, but really it was just being able to watch wrestling every week without having to worry about school and stuff. It was just getting to watch wrestling, talking to you guys. Probably the favorite moment is when I made my Twitter account, because I just love tweeting during shows. I think it's so fun. Sure, it might take your eyes off the screen every once in a while, but I just think it's so fun. But really, a specific answer that I do remember, that I think I'll remember for a really long time, was when Dixie Carter, when Bully Ray powerbombed her through a table. Now I know it's like, wow, that's the best moment of the summer that I can really. But I don't know, it was something cool when all the wrestlers were slapping the mat in union. All the guys were like coming together to beat the authority of TNA, and thought it was something cool to see, and I just think I'll remember that for a really long time. It was awesome. The crowd like blew the roof off the place, which made it even better, and yeah, that was probably my favorite, moment of the summer. But I'm sure there's different ones with like the WWE and stuff. I just can't remember. So, but Dixie Carter, I remember vaguely. So, or not vaguely, I remember like very detailedly. So, I guess I would have to go to that. Sorry if that's a kind of a cheap answer, but and he also asked favorite wrestler I've met, and I'm gonna have to go with my man Paul London because I know everyone, he tends to in interviews like hate on Triple H and hate on the WWE and stuff, and that's that's his life. He can do whatever he wants. But meeting him, he was the coolest wrestler I've ever met, easily. And I just think he can have his he can think what he thinks of Triple H and stuff, have his opinions. I don't care. He was a cool guy. He was really nice, and he was a guy that he's one of those wrestlers where when you're talking to him, you don't even feel like you're talking to a wrestler. You feel like a regular guy just having a nice conversation about wrestling. And I really appreciate that. And Paul London always will be a personal favorite of mine now. Just in his wrestling skills, he'll be a personal favorite because he was such a nice guy. So yeah, Paul London, favorite wrestler I've ever met. And he was I'm trying to think. He might have been the last wrestler I've met so far, besides DDP and Devon. He might have been the last one I met. But yeah, Paul London easily. Moving on, we have True to Life Vids. Go check out his channel. I want to say he's an active uploader, but I could be wrong. True to Life Vids. He asked, "Who is in your opinion, should be the next poster boy for the WWE?" Now, you gotta really think about this. Great question. You really gotta think about how, like, not just his wrestling skills, because John Cena technically isn't the best wrestler, but he's so good with like entertainment and doing interviews and stuff. He's so good at that. So I'm gonna have to go with somebody that like, somebody that can clean himself up good, being good in the suit, because really that's what they are looking for. As a face for the company, you need to be doing interviews, doing media, entertainment, and all that. John Cena does a great job. I could see Daniel Bryan doing it. I would love to see him being the poster boy of WWE. But honestly, I'm gonna have to say Roman Reigns. I feel like maybe if he does more interviews and more media and stuff, he could be in that role. Looks good in a suit. I bet he could clean himself up very well. Not sounding like gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just see him looking good in a suit, being able to be in media, be able to be that big star, and he needs to be a big attraction. But Daniel Bryan also. So I'd either have to go with Daniel Bryan or Roman Reigns. Very good question. Also, he asked, which year do you think was the biggest flop for WWE? Now, I had a few come to mind. Basically, the steroid scandal that year, when Vince McMahon created the XFL, his football league that year, and but I'm gonna have to go with probably, let's say, 1996, only because that I was looking in my book and seeing the ratings when they versed WCW. Basically, let's just go with the year before the Attitude Era really started, maybe 97. So let's go with 96, only because they were being killed in the ratings by WCW. They needed change. And so they went the Attitude Era, and that's what boosted the entire WWE. So I'm gonna go with 1996. I get comments like, "Oh, 1996 was a great year, blah blah." You don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't living that time, so it's kind of hard. But I'm gonna have to go with 1996, just because they were getting killed in the ratings by WCW. But yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, and this is his last question. Yes, do you think wrestling can ever be something big again, like back in the 80s? Absolutely, I think it could be as big as the 80s as the 80s. I mean, the Attitude Era, right there, it shows after the 80s it was big again. In the Attitude Era in the late 90s, I had a friend that grew up in the 90s, and he said it was something like when you went to school, everybody was wearing a wrestling shirt. So absolutely, I can see it being something monstrous again. It's gonna take a lot of work, It could take a while. I mean, a lot of big stuff would happen. We'd have to have, like, The Rock, Stone Cold, and Goldberg and everybody come back and stuff. But you're going to need big stars that are good with entertainment, can do interviews, can do all this stuff, and really put it on the map. So, absolutely, I think it can be big again. And as the 80s, yeah, I think it could. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. So, thank you for this question. Really appreciate it. Moving on, we have, I think it's Breatha35, hopefully I pronounced that right. Thanks for asking questions. He asked, does the WWE Network, does it spoil DVD and Blu-ray sales? No, not entirely. It can hurt it. I'm sure when they get, let me think, when they have more documentaries and more Raws and SmackDowns and WCW Nitros and all that on the network, I think it really could hurt DVD sales, but at this point, I know a lot of people that do still like having hard copies, and they want DVDs, they want Blu-rays, but they still produce documentaries and stuff that on the network they don't have. So absolutely, I think they can. I think it doesn't really spoil it. It does maybe hurt, but until they post documentaries and DVDs and all these like stuff on the network, I don't think it's gonna hurt it too much. But I mean, DVD sales are really, or DVDs and Blu-rays of WWE, they're really low price now, so I like it. I mean, I love having it. Just being able to, excuse me, being able to go to Walmart and stuff and just picking up a DVD that I don't have to wait for the connection or be worried that's gonna lag out or like mess up the internet feed and stuff. But no, I don't think it spoils it. But when documentaries are more on the network, yeah, I'll probably hurt it. But his next question, he basically stated that Sting has stated that he has one more match in him, and he asked me where should it be, against who, and who wins. Now, I'm going to give it a step further. I think he should have 2 matches left in him, honestly. I think he should have had a match with Triple H. Let's just go from there. Let's say he has 2 matches in him. I wanted it to be at SummerSlam. I wanted it to be from that one. Now, moving on, let's say he does have one more match in him, only one more. I would have to go with, of course, I would have to go with it. WrestleMania 31, I'm sure. What city is it in? Dang it. I can't remember what city it's in. Sorry. WrestleMania 31, I would have him versus The Undertaker, and I would have Undertaker go over. I'm sorry, I would have him go over. Still, I'm sure the hype of the match would be just so great, it wouldn't matter who wins, but I'd have to go with Undertaker winning. Sting maybe like holding up his hand and stuff and showing sign of respect, and then both ending their careers and being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Sorry. But yeah, definitely that. But I really wanted to see a match against him and Triple H. So maybe if Undertaker can't do a match, I would have it Triple H, same thing, WrestleMania, and yeah. So there you go. Undertaker versus Sting would be my first choice. Second, Triple H versus Sting. Thank you for those questions. I really appreciate it. Moving on, we have Joe Hernandez, who's a great subscriber. He doesn't comment on every video, but he lets me know he is watching every video, and I really do appreciate that. So he said he has 2 questions. Thoughts on Global Force Wrestling. Now, at first, if you don't know, Global Force Wrestling is the company Jeff Jarrett owns. At first, I didn't really care that much. We haven't seen talent being announced. They say where they're training people in Canada and stuff, and they say where their training center is, but they hadn't announced any names. So I was like, not too excited about that. But excuse me, let me take a drink first. That is good. I wish I was sponsored by Powerade. But basically, so we haven't seen any talent announced, but I wasn't excited at all. Then I saw Jeff Jarrett join the Bullet Club, which is one of the greatest factions coming out of New Japan Pro Wrestling in a really long time. Him joining Bullet Club, which consists of like the Young Bucks, AJ Styles, a bunch of Japanese stars, Carl Anderson. I don't know the Japanese stars, I'm sorry, but basically, he's been promoting on his website. He's saying, see how it happened, see how he joined Bullet Club on GFW.com, Global Force Wrestling website. So this is really making me excited, because this is making me think, what if we see the Bullet Club on national TV in the United States? I really want to see that, and I'm very excited for it, because I know Jeff Jarrett definitely knows what he's doing. We could see AJ Styles in Global Force Wrestling, maybe the Young Bucks. If there's so many New Japan Pro Wrestling stars that I would love to see on United States TV. So, oh my gosh, the ice cream! I hope you can hear that. The ice cream truck's outside. But yeah, I'm really excited for it now. And they're always talking to the fans saying, what talent would you like to see? So I think that's a very good step by them to do. So definitely I'm very excited for it. Let me know what you're excited for. I really like to know what you think. His next question, top 3 wrestlers right now in wrestling. Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, definitely. I would like to say Dolph Ziggler, because now I think he's getting a good push. So Dolph Ziggler, and let's go with the TNA one. How about that? I'm going to have to go with Bobby Lashley. Right now, TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and He is just unstoppable. I think a lot of the matches being so great have to do with who he's versing. So like Austin Aries and stuff, even though they probably do carry the match because Bobby Lashley can't do all this crazy stuff. He's a freaking powerhouse and he has so much strength, but he needs a guy really to really show how strong he is. A light guy like Aries, Kenny King, let's say, and but still, Bobby Lashley easily is freaking awesome champion right now. So yeah, Ambrose, Ziggler, and Lashley, or Brock Lesnar right now because I don't know, he's not the top wrestler. I don't know. Yeah, Ziggler, Ambrose, Lashley. So hopefully that answered your question. Sorry, the dogs are barking. But thank you for those questions. Moving on to a great subscriber, Tony Kegger. He has a channel. Go check it out. He does a lot of old school stuff. He's an older fan, so that definitely is helps out if you want to see some more like older type fans. There you go. Favorite wrestling show I've ever attended. That's a hard one. I've attended 2 TLCs. I've attended a house show, Raw, I've attended like 5 SmackDown tapings, and those are kind of boring to be honest. I'm actually skipping the next one that comes, but honestly, even though I've seen 2 pay-per-views, even though I've seen a Raw house show, which I honestly think house shows are better than live events sometimes, I'm gonna have to, or better than the TV tapings. I'm gonna have to go with a house show for TNA Impact because it's a small crowd. It feels like an independent show. I'm not saying that as an insult because independent shows are awesome, but I was with my brother, and I just think that's like one of the funnest times I've had. Like, it's so interactive and stuff. Definitely not the best wrestling I've seen live, but it's just so fun and interactive. I just love small crowds like that, and it was with my brother, and that was a lot of fun. And I got to meet a bunch of wrestlers before the show and during it. So, yeah, that just because it has like personal stuff, I guess. But his next question, who would I put on my wrestling Mount Rushmore? And that's a good question. I really like that. I could take the cheap answer because there is a wrestling team called Mount Rushmore. It's Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Kevin Steen. I could say that, but I'm gonna keep it 4 guys on it. Keep it 4 guys, but I really want to think of guys that change the business. I could go with like Buddy Rogers or Bruno. I'm gonna have to go with Hogan. Rock, Dwayne, I guess. The Rock, I don't know if I'd say Stone Cold. It's John Cena. I know a lot of people are going to be pissed about that, but, I mean, he's changed the business. It's John, Rock, Hogan, and kind of like to put Undertaker on it, to be honest. No, let's go with Shawn Michaels as the 4th guy. Yeah, Hogan, Cena, Rock, and Shawn Michaels. Let's go with them. Thank you for those questions, Tony. I really appreciate it. Moving on, we have Wrestling Toy Collector. Go check out his channel for some great action figures, reviews and such. Definitely go check it out. What got me into wrestling? Basically in 2009, the summer of 2009, my cousin from Ohio came to, where I live, and he wanted to watch Raw, and we were like, okay, that's cool. And I had really no memory of wrestling ever, so I was like, yeah, definitely let's watch it. I watched it, and it wasn't this life-changing moment. Like, I was kind of excited to see what happens, but it wasn't like this big moment where I was like, oh, I knew I loved it. It was more of like a process where after that Raw, I had to watch the ECW that came on. I had to watch the SmackDown. Then I had to watch SummerSlam of 2009, and SummerSlam 2009 was probably what freaking is the reason I became a wrestling fan. So, yeah, definitely not. My cousin definitely was big help on that. So, hopefully that answers your question. I think I answered that for my like 100th video or like 100th subscriber special or something like that. Moving on, his next question was worst gimmicks in the WWE, or the worst gimmick ever in the WWE. I could go with ones that are like Stardust or like Damian Sandow's gimmick right now, who is just be a bunch of random gimmicks. But those guys make those gimmicks good. So I kind of had to take a gimmick that was so bad and the guy did it crappy. So it can't be Stardust or like Dashing Rhodes because freaking Cody Rhodes sells that crap. He is a freaking genius. Damian Sandow, I just think he's so funny that he can pull it off. But I'm gonna go with the Shockmaster because he set himself up to fail when he smashed through the wall. He was supposed to be this big, partner that Sting had finally chosen that was gonna put an end to. Who was it? I forget who they were facing. It was something in WCW, but he has like a stormtrooper from Star Wars mask that's all glittery. It's got all this glitter around it. He's supposed to smash through a wall, and he falls down, just does a face plant, the helmet pops off, and that just was setting up for failure. But yeah. Next question, it was the Shockmaster. Next question, he asked made friends on YouTube. My buddies Ryan and Charles, because Ryan's channel is Squared Circle Sports. He asked a question, and then Charles asked another question. But those guys are cool because I get to, make videos with them and stuff. We do a bunch of hangouts, and that's a lot of fun. And yeah, definitely them, I guess. But I mean, I tweet, we'll message each other during school and stuff, and that's fun. But yeah, I would have to say those guys because I don't know, we talk wrestling all the time, so I guess that, yeah. John Adams, thank you for those questions too, by the way. Moving on, we have John Adams who asked, next star from the Indies to go to NXT to development. That's a really good question. I'm gonna have to go with either Willie Mack, who is this like big African American guy that's not, yeah, I would say fat, I guess, but so agile and can do the craziest stuff. Like, he is so freaking fast for a guy his size. And I think there's a rumor going around that he is signed with WWE, and I could easily see him. I don't know, I haven't heard his promos, but just from his ringing ability, I could easily see him be the first African American WWE champion. Or Adam Cole, because I think Adam Cole, he was the previous ROH champion before Michael Elgin. So definitely those guys. Thank you for those questions. Moving on, we have Degenerator. I hope I pronounced that right. Degenerator, yeah, 1999. That's all one word. Degenerator, 1999. Go check out his channel. It's a really good channel with a bunch of wrestling stuff. He said, what is the WWE/WWF pay-per-view that should be brought back that they do not have? That's a really good question. I thought about like Armageddon, No Mercy, In Your House, but I'm going to have to go with freaking King of the Ring because I just love the King of the Ring tournament, and I honestly don't get why they took it away. Such a good pay-per-view. I wish they would bring that back. Great question. His next question was thoughts on John Cena. I don't hate John Cena. I think CM Punk in his pipe bomb promo really put it the greatest way anyone could put it. I don't hate John Cena. I hate what he stands for. I hate it that he has to be shoved down everybody's throat, that he has to always come back and win it and win the match. I hate how he really doesn't put people over. He put Bryan over, I guess, because his injury was not really an excuse. A lot of people say he didn't put Bryan over. I honestly think he put Bryan over at SummerSlam. Put Brock over. He made Brock look like a freaking monster, making him look like a jobber. Yeah, I don't hate John Cena. I do like him. I think he has he can do some good matches. He needs help from the guys he's versing. But yeah, I don't hate him. And I love like the Make-A-Wish stuff, and he just seems like a passionate, dedicated guy. So, but I do hate the fact that he is, the champion, that he beats everyone and never can like lose a match. I don't hate him. I hate what he stands for. CM Punk put it best. But thanks for that question. Next question, he said, this is a good one. Any WrestleMania from 1 to 30, which one would I attend? Now, this is a good question. I really like this question. This is hard. I thought about it for a while, but I am gonna have to go with WrestleMania 17 because it had TLC, Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys, Triple H versus Undertaker, and of course Rock versus Stone Cold. I mean, that match is awesome. WrestleMania 17. Plus, it was at the Astrodome, which is in Houston, where I live. So, but I didn't get to see it. I wasn't even born yet. I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know. Dang it. But moving on. Thank you for those questions. Moving on. Squared Circle Sports. He has some good questions. Go check out his channel. That's Squared Circle Sports. He asked Sami Zayn, will he ever be called up? Oh man, I really hope he is. I don't know why he hasn't been called up. It makes me worry about Kevin Steen when he comes into NXT. Will he be called up soon? Sami Zayn, yes, one day he will be called up, but they're wasting time on him. Honestly, they're wasting so much time. He should be up in the roster, fighting against Ziggler, fighting against Cesaro, fighting against Bryan. When he comes back, they're wasting time with him. So, yeah, he'll be called up one day, but I don't know when. He asked this is a good question. I thought about it for a really long time. Which WWE wrestler would I like to see have one match in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla? Awesome question. I would love to see the guys that have wrestled at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla go back, like Cesaro or like Kalisto now in NXT, Daniel Bryan. I would love to see them go back to PWG, but I'm guessing you mean a solely based WWE wrestler. Ziggler would be a good choice, I think. Because I think he'd be over with the crowd and he'd be super kicking left and right. But I gotta go with I hope you don't mind. I picked two guys, but it kind of makes sense. I picked the Usos only because if they had one match at PWG, I would love to see them versus the Young Bucks. Because Usos throw around super kicks a lot, the Young Bucks super kick a lot. Have them just super kick every move. That'd be awesome, I think. Usos versus the Young Bucks. Book it, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Yeah, Usos gotta go with them. His next question: which indie wrestler or /wrestlers should be the next one to get called up to, like, Raw, to WWE or TNA. I have a lot. Young Bucks, Adam Cole, Willie Mack. I don't know. There's a lot more, I'm sure. Roderick Strong, I would like to see him. Michael Elgin. Definitely the Bucks or Cole. But here's the thing, with independent stars, you got to really remember that they're there for, like, a good reason. Like, I'm sure a lot of them have had the chance to come to WWE. I mean, the Young Bucks were in WWE, they were in TNA, but they are booked so good, and they have all this booking, like, not power. They don't have booking power, but they're just so over wherever they go. Why go to WWE or TNA to be in their developmental center, and then take a few years off there, and then finally come up to the main roster and get buried? Like, WWE, they would just get crushed by these guys. So you got to think about how they are booked in independent stuff. You wouldn't want to see the Young Bucks or Adam Cole, who are so over, come to WWE and just get screwed. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Last question. He said, why do you laugh at heart attacks? Now, first off, I do not think heart attacks are funny at all. I'm going to tell you a backstory why he asked this question. Basically, me, him, and WWE TNA 1152, we all did a hangout, and it was the first time we'd ever talked to each other, and not like, I don't know, it was the first time we made a video together. And basically, we were joking about Michael Cole when he had his heel turn, and then Jerry Lawler had a heart attack. He actually had a heart attack. And then the next week, Michael Cole was a face from then on. He was a face announcer. And basically, I said, I thought that was funny. I thought it was kind of stupid that, Michael Cole hates Jerry Lawler. Then after this, he loves him. So I basically said, this is how I said it. I go, it was really funny when Jerry Lawler had a heart attack. But it sounded so bad, and I realized it right away that it sounded so bad. What I meant was, it was funny that Michael Cole did that. But yeah, so everyone just started laughing, and it was a video for a while, but I think he deleted it. So because you guys can't see that, blame him. Blame Squared Circle Sports. It's all his fault. Just like Snitsky. Thank you for your questions, Ryan. Moving on, we have WWE TNA 1152. That's Charles. That's the guy I was talking about earlier. He's seen Devitt Kenta, who's the best in my opinion. In my opinion, Kevin Steen, but I haven't seen Kenta or Devitt wrestle very much. So Steen, definitely, I guess. He said, who are your next WWE and TNA champions? I'm going with, like, I guess you're meaning, like, definitely next guys, like the next people to take it off Brock and take it off Lashley. So I'm thinking Roman Reigns is going to take it off Brock, and then I'm thinking Bobby Roode's going to take it off Lashley. I would love to see that. So yeah, Roode and Roman Reigns. Moving on, my favorite match of the summer. This one again was hard because there's so much stuff that happened during the summer, but I'm gonna have to go with Usos and Harper and Rowan at Battleground. I don't know. I think it was Battleground. Yeah, I guess it was Battleground, but it was 2 out of 3 falls. That was the point of it. It was Usos and Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, 2 out of 3 falls. I thought that match was awesome. And moving on, we have Austin Smith. It's my top favorite matches. I honestly cannot answer this question, really. This question should be a video of its own. But I threw one up at the last minute. This is a rough draft. It is definitely not my final best matches ever. So if you disagree with me, that's why. But, yeah, top 5. Hogan versus Andre, because it's like, when you think of wrestling, you think of Hogan slamming Andre. I know I didn't have Dreamboat and Dreamboat. Did I just say Dreamboat? Steamboat, I'm sorry. Steamboat and Macho Man. I didn't even have that on the list because honestly I haven't seen that match in its entirety. But Hogan Andre's 5. As 4, I had Harleys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian at WrestleMania 17 TLC match. Number 3, I had Michaels versus Bret Hart in a Iron Man match. 2 was Foley versus Taker. I know you guys are gonna get pissed off about that because just think about it though, Foley versus Taker. Like literally, if any person that says wrestling's fake, show them that match. That match in itself was like, how the heck is this fake? Or, how the heck is this fake? I just love that match. I just think it's so crazy. It's like, how does Foley keep getting up? I just thought that was crazy. And then my number 1 match, I had Michaels versus Taker at WrestleMania 25. WrestleMania 25 was the 25th anniversary, so you have the 2 biggest stars of wrestling, Undertaker and Michaels, and then Jim Ross on commentary. Come on, that makes it even better. But, yeah. don't get mad at me if you like really hate that list. If you're like, oh, that's stupid. You didn't have Ring of Honor. You didn't have New Japan Pro Wrestling. You didn't have TNA. That's why. That's honestly why I didn't have any. I can't decide. I'm a boy. I'm only a boy. Dang it. Moving on. Thank you, Austin, for those questions. Go check out his channel, Austin Smith. Go check out his channel. Moving on. Last questions. The Show Off Collector. Hopefully I didn't go too long, but I think I did. The Show Off Collector. Go check out his channel. I believe. I'm trying to think what his channel is. I'm trying to plug in as many channels as I can, but I can't remember what he uploads. Sorry. I think it's like action figures and stuff. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I'll give you a shout out in another video. But he has top 10 wrestlers in order. He made it very specific. I have to do it in order. This is rough. I hate this. This is, again, a rough draft, so don't get mad at my picks. I know a lot of people are going to be pissed off at my picks, but 10, I had to put Hulk Hogan because, you know, he is Hogan. 9, Kurt Angle. I just love Kurt Angle. I think he's funny from the WWF, and then, like, his wrestling ability is insane. 8, Triple H. I think he's great. 7, Sting. 6, CM Punk. 5, Stone Cold Austin. 4, don't get mad at me. I know people are going to be pissed I put him above Stone Cold Steve Austin, but AJ Styles. Only because, let's remember, you got to remember, I haven't seen Stone Cold wrestle live. Not live in person, but I have never seen him do a match on TV that was happening like that point. You know? So, I've seen AJ Styles wrestle millions of times, but I'm going to have to go with AJ Styles number 4. Number 3, The Rock. Number 2, Undertaker. Number 1, Shawn Michaels. Hopefully that answers your question. Please don't get mad at my picks. I'm sorry if you hate them. And he also asked my top 5 NXT stars. Number 5, Kalisto. He's one of the best high flyers there is. I easily could see him being the next Rey Mysterio, definitely. Number 4, I was going to put, oh yeah, basically this list for 5 NXT stars, I was only going to put people that have only been on NXT. I wasn't going to put Tyson Kidd or Justin Gabriel. You know, they've been on Raw and stuff, so I didn't put them in there, but I wanted to put Kidd in there. So 5, Kalisto, because he's never been on the roster. He's been in PWG and Ring of Honor, blah, blah, but 5, Kalisto. 4, I hope you don't mind, I put the Ascension. I know, you know, you said favorite wrestlers, but I'm going to have to put Ascension as one. If you hate that, then Bayley or Charlotte. I like them as divas. Number 3, Tyler Breeze, awesome heel. Number 2, Adrian Neville. Number 1, Sami Zayn. El Generico, duh. And, yeah, that's my top list. So 5, Kalisto, Ascension, Breeze, Neville, and Zayn. Moving on, the last question I have, he asked, this was a good question. I kind of thought really hard about this one. It was, out of Bryan Cesaro and Bray Wyatt, if one of them could never wrestle again, who would you pick? After a while, I had to pick Bray Wyatt because I love Daniel Bryan, I love Cesaro. Their matches are just fantastic. Let's say if you took off their vocal cords and none of them could deliver a promo ever again, I would take out Cesaro, but because Bray's promo is amazing. But out of wrestling ability, I have to go with Bryan and Cesaro, and then Bray never wrestling again. Hopefully that never happens ever. Hopefully Bryan comes back soon. But Q&A is over. Thank you so much for all your questions. I really appreciate it. If you didn't like my answer and you want me to be more specific, let me know in the comment section. I'll answer it. Sorry if I didn't plug your channels right. Like if I said something wrong on your channel or something, I'm sorry. But thank you so much for asking questions. I'm not going to talk about Raw or TNA. I talked way too long. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter at 7WRocks. This was a lot of fun. I definitely would do it again. So thank you guys. Let's get to 200 subscribers. As always, have a nice day. Thank you guys.